Tahir was born in 1972 in a city where buildings shook not from earthquakes, but from governments falling over like drunk uncles at weddings. His first drawing, legend says, was not a duck or a sun, but a missile. Not because he liked missiles, but because they were everywhere, like pigeons. Or despair. His mother, Rania, was a librarian with a back permanently bent from carrying banned books. And his father, Mahmud, was a failed calligrapher who always said, "The state fears curves more than it fears bullets." It made sense later. When he was 6, Tahir painted his first real piece, a mural on the alley wall behind their apartment. It showed a boy holding a balloon that was actually a surveillance drone. The boy was smiling. By age 9, he was painting with mud and blood, defacing state property with unsanctioned emotion. That's right, emotion was illegal. Welcome to the 20th century. Somehow, Tahir made it into the Des Beaux-Arts in Paris. The French naturally adored him. They love revolution as long as it's framed. He studied Dadaism, constructivism, and even color field painting, which he later called emotionally lazy sunsets. His professors thought he was either a genius or unwell. Maybe both. Tahir once submitted a painting titled "My Father's Silence." It was a blank canvas. When asked why it was empty, he replied, "Greater than, it's not empty. You just can't hear the screaming." Half the class applauded. The other half transferred to marketing. The war came, as wars always do in the lives of artists. Uninvited, brutal, and completely uninterested in metaphors. Tahir returned home to find museums burned, libraries looted, and his childhood bedroom occupied by a man selling imported batteries. He began painting feverishly, canvas after canvas. One series, called Portraits of People Who Didn't Matter to the Invaders, included nothing but silhouettes. A triptych titled God, Flag, and Wi-Fi. 3 toilet seats mounted to a wall. People were outraged, which meant it worked. Governments banned him. Art critics adored him. Instagram didn't know what to do with him. He once painted a mural using only the ashes of burned history textbooks and goat's milk. It was haunting. In 2007, he was reportedly killed in an airstrike. News outlets ran with it. Obituaries were written. Memorial exhibitions were held. And then, 2 years later, he showed up in Norway, barefoot, and gave a speech at a conference titled Asterisk, The Role of the Dead in Contemporary Art. No one knew whether to clap or run. His explanation, "I didn't die. I just left the room." Death, like curfews and hashtags, is often performative. So it goes. Tahir married once, briefly, to a sculptor named Selma, who only worked with rusted metal and animal bones. They lived in a studio with no electricity, but plenty of ghosts. They divorced after arguing for 3 hours about whether hope was a bourgeois concept. Later, he lived alone. Not because he was sad, though he was, but because he didn't trust happiness. He said, "Joy is just the capitalist version of numbness." In his later years, Tahir painted less and spoke more. He gave lectures in abandoned buildings, underground subway stations, and once at the United Nations, where he declared, "Greater than if peace is a white dove. Why does it always land on tanks?" He published a book titled Asterisk, Asterisk, Art for the End of the World. Asterisk, Asterisk, which sold poorly but became required reading in 5 revolutions. His final piece, a massive mural on the side of a collapsing refugee shelter. It showed children holding mirrors instead of flags. He died 3 days later. Heart failure, they said, but some believe he staged it again. And maybe he's still out there, somewhere, painting shadows on the walls of forgotten cities. Today, Tahir's work hangs in stolen galleries, censored textbooks, and the dreams of idealistic art students everywhere. His style was described as post-traumatic surrealism dipped in existential satire. He described it as trying not to cry with a paintbrush. He once said, "Asterisk, asterisk, art doesn't change the world. It just reminds it that it used to have a soul." Asterisk, asterisk, and maybe that's enough. If Kurt Vonnegut were to end this story, he might say, Tahir Al-Taqqal, like all of us, was born, screamed a little, made some strange things, broke a few hearts, dodged a few bombs, died, and left behind confusion, color, and a bit of beauty. And if that's not art, what is? So it goes.